right, I am now inside the car and ready to start the installation. One thing I recommend is moving the visors out of the way. It gives you more room to work in this area since we're going to be removing the two parts of this plastic panel. We're going to be using the plastic pry bar, and I find the easiest way is to go along the top here, pull it up and away from the glass, and then you're going to be able to slide it to the left. There is a line here where the two pieces meet, and there's some clips along there. So let's get started with that. All right, so I got those unclipped, and now I'm going to slide this off into the left. May need a little bit of assistance with the pry bar. There we go. And now we're going to do the same with the other side. You can pull it down. There's a clip right here. And it should separate like that. Place that aside. All right, so now we have a view of the area underneath the plastic trim. We have our ADAS module right here, and that's the fan that usually here sometimes. Up here is the connector. This is the one that we're going to remove. So I already have it halfway out, so I'm going to take the plastic pry bar and just remove it the rest of the way. Pop it out like that. Then we're going to pull it down. And what this is the connector that is the rain sensor for the wipers. And we're going to connect this into one end of the dash cam wiring harness. And then the other end will go back into this original plug up here. Now we can take the replacement trim piece and get the right side module. This one is going to go in this area right here. And we're going to line it up with the holes that are existing in that mount. So I am just going to loosely place it in for now. Get this all lined up, and now I'm going to push it in. Now we're going to take the other half, which has the dash cam module in it, and we're also going to have a wire for the rear camera, so we're going to make sure that that is accessible. I'm going to place that so it's on the upper area here, so that we can route it along the roof line. So I'm going to have that loose. And then we are going to attach the existing connector here. We're going to insert that into the Y adapter. So now we have that one. And then we're going to insert the other end back into that plug that was up here. We have the cable on the Y adapter, and you can see that red plug is inserted into the connector for the rain sensor. So we have everything ready here. And now we're going to just gently push all the wiring into this area here. Make sure nothing gets in front of the fan. We don't want to have anything interrupting that. And we're just going to place all the wires in here and then put the cover on. All right, now I'm going to slide everything in. All right, so I've positioned the cover close to where it's going to be inserted. One thing I want to make sure is that the connector for the dash cam, the rear dash cam, I'm going to attach that to the rear cable. And I'm going to tuck it behind here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck the cable under the headliner. And you can use the plastic pry bar to kind of squeeze it in that area. I just want to get this started before I put the cover on because I don't want to have a problem with this cable. All right, so you can see here I have the cable for the rear camera, and I have it tucked underneath the headliner, and I just have it going a little bit over so that it is right here. And then I'm going to route it all the way here and down and across and then go towards the back. But I want to make sure that I have that connected before I put this cover on, because it's a lot easier to do that now while this is separated. At this point, I'm going to push the cables in here, make sure that nothing is blocking the fan or the other areas here. So I am going to push this together so that everything lines up. All right, and then I'm going to push them together. They should snap together. There we go. All right. Make sure everything's lined up, and then it will snap together. There we go. If you haven't already, there is a plastic cover on the lens to protect it during shipping, so you can peel that off at this point since it's now installed. All right, so as I mentioned, I have part of the rear camera cable here. I am now going to just tuck it behind the headliner, and then I'm going to go to the corner. And then I'm going to go around here. Let me move the visor back to its position. And what I need to do is have this go around to this section right here. And then I'm going to have it go to the weather stripping area. So let me do that, and then I'll show you the rest of the way. One thing is that there's an airbag here. So what we're going to do is route the wire so it's in this area here, so it's nowhere near the airbag. All right, so I have the wire now. It went underneath this area here to the visor area, and then I'm going to just snake it all the way along the top of this panel, all the way down to the rear. So here I'm on the outside of the car. To give you a better view, I find it easier to pull the weather stripping down so that you can access the headliner, and then you can just route the wire just underneath the headliner and have it go all the way along this area. It's going to go along the inside here all the way down to the lift gate. So once you've passed the B pillar, you're going to route it all along the headliner here until we get to the rear door. And then we're going to go down here. Going to move the weather stripping down a little ways here. And then we're going to route the wire down and around to the back. It's probably easier to do that through this area here than above here. I don't know. I may be able to do up above. It just depends on how you want to do it. And also, one thing I have to mention is that this area above here has airbags. So be super careful to route it so that it doesn't interfere with any of the airbags. And if you're concerned with that, you could just route it down along the bottom of the door threshold, all the way through here, and then back up. So it's up to you how you want to route the cables. So here's the rear door, and I am going to just tuck the cable inside of the headliner here. Here's the rest of it. I am just going to route this behind, and if you want to give it a little extra push so it fits in here so you won't be able to see it, I'm going to keep on going here along the top here until I reach this edge, and then this is where the lift gate's going to be. Here we have another decision area. We have the wire coming out. I'm going to have it go underneath the weather stripping to about the center of the liftgate area. I am going to be putting it right in this area here. It's right in the middle, so I get full coverage out of the rear window. Here we have the rear dash cam installed. I have it lining up with the digital rear view mirror. So it is centered on the back, and I have the window down so I can get a nice close look at it. And as you can see, I have the wiring going up in this area right here. Let me open up the lift gate to give you a better look. So as you can see, I routed the wiring so it gets tucked in this area right here, and then right under the weather stripping, and then goes all the way that way, and then leads to the front of the car. I did it like this so that when it closes, it doesn't catch up on the weather seal, and I can have it fully closed and the wiring is not pinched, and there's no issues with the weather seal having the wire on it. So it is fully weatherproof, waterproof. So I don't need to run it through these grommet hoses to get to the upper area. So just routing it like this should work well enough. So that gives you a better view of how I did the wires. So when I do close it, it doesn't pinch the wires. And there we go. Now I'll show you what it looks like with the rear glass raised up. So obviously with the tint, you really can't see the dash cam behind it, but it is there. So here we have a look at the fully installed dash cam. And as you can see, it is fairly low profile from the driver's point of view. Pretty good.